Welcome back to Mike R's shop. Today, we're going to work on the frame rail on the 70 Challenger. I bet that surprises you, doesn't it? No, seriously, we're going to start doing the final fitment on this thing so we can melt those two pieces of frame rail together and get this sucker in the car. Let's watch the show intro and I will see you in 30 seconds.
Working out of a 100-year-old refurbished barn, bringing 35 years of experience to projects considered beyond repair. Vision, creativity, and problem solving are essential tools in this place. Watch as we transform junk into polished metal miracles. This is My Car's Shop.
Today is one of those days that if it wasn't for you guys, I probably wouldn't be out here doing this right now. But we have a deadline coming for an episode on Friday, and so I got the meat grinder going and I got the whip out and forcing myself to get out here and start working on it. And even just setting the camera up and putting it on the tripod, starting to build the energy, and I actually almost feel like getting down on the floor and flopping around like a beached whale. So, and I'm really feeling like a beached whale right now. I'm glad it's summer, or almost summer. It's a beautiful day here in Michigan, and today we put out the Corvette episode, so if you haven't seen that, check it out. That was fun. I was actually on the road most of the day yesterday dealing with that little excursion, so check that one out. And so yeah, we're back on the 70 Challenger today, and we want to hopefully have this frame rail fitted to the correct length. All of our angles and everything following the floor contour the way it's supposed to, and have it tack welded so that the two shall become one. Felt like I was just doing a wedding. Anyway, so that's what we're doing today. Let's just gotta stop all this talk. We gotta keep after the car. Why do you talk so much, Mike? The place to start is at the start. So we've got the frame rail kind of fitted. Looks like it's fallen down a little bit. So what we need to do is, this is a really difficult spot to film, and we need to get this up tight to the floor and determine how much of this we need to cut off here so that it will snuggle right up tight. And then of course we got a little bit of trimming and stuff to do on the other one there. But we're in the process of trying to determine the overlap and get the angles right. Once we've got this so it follows the contour of the floor perfectly, which we know that this piece does follow the contour of the floor perfectly, it's just a matter of trimming it to get it to fit in place. It's just a matter of trimming it so that it will snuggle up in place, and both of them will. So we got some trimming to do on both of them. You can see we got a little curvature here. I'm going to have to do a little trimming out. So a little bit of work to get these married. So that's what we need to be about. And the challenge, as I said, is trying to film this down here, not be in your way. It'd be much easier if this was on a rotisserie, but I couldn't really put it on a rotisserie until this is done. So it's a 6 of one, half a dozen of the other type of situation. I'm going to do my best to stay out of your way. I've got to figure out why this is down from where it was. This was tighter before. I'm not sure why it's not now. So hopefully you don't lose too much light. Yeah, I think you'll be able to see okay. Loosen this up a little bit and see what's going on. I'm not totally sure. Okay, I think the place to start is to get this one to snuggle up to that floor perfectly snug. Then we can trim this one back to get it to also come into there. Then we'll determine our blend. So that means we'll take this piece out first. I hate taking it out because I just feel like I'm going backwards. But yeah, we have, it's just the end of it here. I think we need to trim it back about an inch. So I got a black marker here somewhere. I'm probably laying on it. Yep, I am. So I think we're going to come back into about here on both sides and just kind of trim this down a little bit, like so, on both sides, just to make it even. So we'll do that with the plasma cutter. Well, again, just do it and stop talking about it. Good grief. Let me copy things loose. Most of the old frame rail is cleared out, except for on the spring perch back there, I've got the spring mount. I got to do a little bit back there, but yeah, we'll get this trimmed up here. When you don't turn the camera on for whatever reason, and you think you did and you didn't, things tend to not record. Funny how that works, but we're good. Okay, let's take a peek here now and see what we got. Okay, our flange might be just a bit wide here. That's kind of messing us up a little bit. So we're going to have to do a little trimming there. But I think we're good now. You can see there's no floor pan here, obviously. But my main concern is kind of fitting along the edge over there where there is floor pan and fitting up in here. And it does that for the most part. There's a little bit up in here that catches. But I can see that it's coming this way too much towards the driver's side, and it's because it's hitting over here on the wheel lip just a little bit. So I'm going to figure out how much to take off of that. Yep, that's what we need to do. So I need to get my marker out again and mark that up. Okay, upon further examination, I just discovered that the frame rail has a little bit of a bow in it right in here that I didn't know it had. So we're going to need to modify that just a little bit. I got some ideas how I want to do that, but in order for it to come around here on this wheel well lip that I got to bring you over here and show you, the frame rail has to have just the slightest kink in it. Not a big deal, but I didn't realize it had that. So just a minor tweak, be a very easy fix to accomplish here. So as I was explaining, it comes along here and there's just a slight little jag in it this way. Not much, but it just kind of bends that frame rail a little bit. So we've got to replicate that in the straight piece that I made. Not a biggie. So right here is about where it needs to happen. So I need to, similar to what I did here where we cut it so it could flex this way, I need to cut it in here so it can flex this way. And I need to make sure I do it so it does it the right direction, because I could do it wrong, because yes, I would be known for that. So we need to take a little slice here so this can open, and we need to cut from here all the way up to here with a little V cut out here so that this frame rail piece can just kink a little bit. So I double checked it in the car one more time just to make sure, and that's what needs to happen. I'm going to do this with the cutoff wheel because I want precise cuts here, because we're going to be doing some overlap welding and so forth. So what I want to show you is how I did this. So the frame was obviously straight, and I took and cut it up here, and I put a little cut over here so that we could bend it like so. Then I took my cutoff wheel and went in here and just made that so I had a little bit more space. That way I can peen that down once I know where it's got to be, and I can weld that solid again. Of course, we won't be doing that yet. We want to make sure that everything fits front and back once we marry those two pieces together. I created a little clearance in here so that I have a little bit more room on that wheel opening flange that sticks down. But now we got the little buckle in it that it needs. So front, rear, I kept freaking myself out thinking I did it backwards, but I didn't. So I'm notorious for doing that. Okay, so try fitting it up in here now. It's in good shape. Oh yeah, fits beautifully now. Just that little bit of a kink in it makes all the difference in the world. Put our clamp on here to hold her here. She's tight to the floor now, all around. It's not clamped in the back yet, but my welders keep freaking me out. I keep looking over there and thinking somebody's standing there. I gotta double check and make sure that our length in the back is right, which is why I haven't peeled that old piece off. But for the most part, we're falling right in the middle of the spot welds now. Everything's looking good. It pulls up tight to the floor. So we are really close to, yeah, I think we're ready to move forward now and fit the front piece, but I need to go back over here and make sure that it's lined up in the back where it's supposed to be ahead of the spring perch. It's fitting beautifully now, right at the correct spot in the back where it belongs, fitting right over the welds where it needs to be up here, lining up good, follows the contour of the floor. So now we're ready to start the same process on the front piece here. Apparently I blew my hat. I put this hat on, it was my grandfather's hat actually, but I put it on for a little head cushion. Because being under here, I kept banging my head and I didn't want a baseball hat. So, a little tech tip. Protect your beam. Well, oh, these are fun. These are really fun. Because it's got to go kind of up in there. There we go. And now, yeah, good. So you can see how much closer we are here now. And so I just need to come in here, where I said before, with my marker and determine the trimation that needs to happen here. And I think it needs to be pretty close to right in here and then come down. The main thing is it just needs to come down here. This end, if you can see that, yeah, so that this will snuggle up in. So we're close. I'm gonna go grab the marker, which I apparently left on the bench, which is normal, which is good for the abs to get up and down a lot, but hard on an old man's knees. Here's where we're at. I need to cut this off in here, this inner structure that I made, which again, we knew it was too long. We talked about that before. I'm gonna cut that back there. And then I need to cut an angle up in here like so. I may leave this flange on here because that can bend down. I probably will. I'll probably cut this a little bigger than it needs to be. We'll do it on both sides. Just gonna ballpark it where it needs to go. From inside here. Okay, good. So that we got an idea how to cut it. We'll cut one, then cut the other. And like I said, we'll leave this flange in here. Just because we can, and that way we'll have an overlapping flange on the top and that'll be nice and solid, and we'll get that all sorted out. So a little bit of cutting we're going to do here right now. Apparently I welded up here, so I didn't make my life easy on that side. This side I didn't, so we'll get that blown out of there and get these pieces out. No biggie. As many times as you see the camera going up and down, I've probably gone up and down 4 times that amount. Okay, this is all the fun. I still got cleanup to do up in here, as I've said before, but right now it's just getting things roughed. know what you guys are going to do when I'm not building frame rails anymore. I feel like you're going to go through withdrawal symptoms or something. Okay, we got... I think it just needs to go... How does it need to go? I don't know. It just needs to come up here, which there's no way to pull that up. I'm not hitting, or am I hitting here? I don't think, well, I am hitting there yet. Darn it. Okay. My inner piece here is still hitting the outer piece here. That's why this won't go up in the rest of the way. So I think what I need to do is probably create some clearance on the back frame rail. Again, this is all going to get welded together, so, but if it's hitting up in here, and I'm quite sure that it is. Yep, it is. By how much? Oh man, just a half an inch. Dang it. Nice if I could get that to just do, well, I might be able to. Hold on now. Not quite, but close. Actually, well, you know what? We may be really close. I wonder if I need to really get some up pressure on that thing. Let me see if we're back too far or forward too far or what we are. I'm not sure. I don't think we're anything too far. I think we might be right. I think I need to get a jack over here and jack up on this right here and see if I can get it to press up tight, because I can't pull it up. There's nothing to squeeze to. And in order to get the frame fabricated properly, I really need to have it fitting exactly to the floor where it needs to be. I think it does need to come back just a little teeny bit, but it's close. As much time as I spend sharing the details with you and thinking on camera, I still spend a lot of time thinking off camera, or you would just see me doing this a lot. Looking at parts, pondering. So, you know, I try not to go overboard, but I do want to share the process with you. So the next step is I'm trying to figure out the best way to push up on that upper part of the frame, because I think I'm this close. See how close that is? It's really close. It's like this. Where are you? There you are. This close to being able to tack weld the front and the back together. But I need to make sure it's following that floor contour. So I'm going to do that, and just wanted to comment here because I'm just laughing to myself for about the last 10 or 15 minutes. We have people, our number one viewed video on the channel is the 70 Duster, which is going to be coming home maybe this weekend. And I always chuckle at people arguing with me about whether the mileage is accurate or not. First of all, I ultimately don't care if people believe it is or isn't, because I know it is true. Knowing the history of the car, knowing the family who's owned it since it was almost brand new, and knowing it was on the drag raced its whole life and parked in wet ground since 1985 explains exactly why that car's in the condition it is. But one of the things that I wanted to just mention, and you guys will get, is I get comments all the time, I can't believe you think that thing is in good shape. Look at what we fix. So in the context of fixing cars that other people would deem beyond repair, the Duster is a cakewalk. Unless there's something seriously more wrong with it, then I think we're not going to be having to do much framework on that car. So I just chuckle because I get where people are coming from when I say something is in good shape and they don't know me or what we do here at my car shop. The context is not going to be understood, and so I look like I'm crazy. I am crazy. All right, let's start you down there. Look how nice and snug that is against the floor now. I've actually got the car pretty much sitting up on it. It's not really much on the jack stand right now, on purpose. Fits in there, beauting this. So let's talk about it. You can kind of see how that's going to blend together very nicely there. Very happy with the way that's going to turn out. Got a little filling to do in there, but no big deal. The main issue is going to be on the other side, and I had to do a little examining on that, but I wanted to talk about down here as well. I did not clean up the spring mount bracket yet where it goes to the frame, so I need to do that, and it's holding this piece of frame a little bit inboard. So it's not lining up perfectly down there yet, but that's because there's a bunch of goober, weld, and crap and garbage and junk hanging in the way. Let's go to the other side here. So we're on the outside now, and you can see we have a big gap in here. It's a little bit off there, and that may look like it's a problem, but it's not. And I could, if I finished this and put that all together, you would never know that was like that. But you're not going to learn anything if I just do that and don't show you the details. And that's what you're here for. So again, you can see how nicely this is going to blend together. This frame rail may need to twist just a little bit, and that may take some of that out of there, but for the most part, this is more knocked up in here because of the air hammer taking the old pieces of frame out. And I went inside the car and verified, and yes, so when I peen this down in here, and then these will also move up, that's going to snug up really nice and tight. I may find a way to drill a couple holes through, put some bolts in with some strap steel. That's probably what I'm going to do. I'll pull that really tight together before I weld it in, but that's down the road a ways. So what I need to do is get all this cleaned up down here so that the frame rail comes over where it belongs and is tight. You can see it's not tight against the bracket. You can see at the very top there's a goober up there. And so that's part of it's holding it over probably about 1/4 of an inch. So, but I am just moments away from, I'm not doing it yet, but I'm not far away from just tack welding these pieces together, because that's how good this is turning out. I could tack weld this together right now and be comfortable with putting it in the car after I clean everything up, but there's no point in doing that. I want to clean everything up, then get it back in the car and tack weld it. And so that's the objective for today, is I want to get this tack welded together and ready to take out of the car and spend 17.3 hours welding it solid. Now that it's back out again, there's a huge divot right here that's going to be causing problems. So we got a combination of this stuff like this is holding that frame rail out, as well as that floor being bent that way. So we'll dolly that out of there as well. And of course we need to clean all of this up in here before we put the frame rail in permanently, but we're not to that point yet, obviously. I gotta get this crap down here cleaned up. So I'll go get my grinder and we will get her done. And there we go. All tweaked into place. Very happy. Looks good on this side. Fits tight. It's like it was made for it. Let's check the other side. You can just see how tight that is. A little bit of gap there, but the floor pan can pound down and the frame rail can pound up. Much better on this side. Again, the frame rail here needs to be just tweaked up just a little bit. No big deal. That lip is malleable. Is that the right word? Shouldn't use big words, but it fits good all the way along. Of course, this up in here is our adjustable piece that we're going to deal with later. And it very well may just get nipped off right there, so, and weld those two together, which is probably what I'm going to do. But even our in here is really starting to blend together well. So I need to make an executive decision here. Am I going to tack this, or is there other things I need to be checking? So once again, this will be my expression. It's pulled up tight in here now too. If you can see that, hopefully you can. Yeah, there you go. Get some light in the right place. Yeah, so you can see that that's tight over now where it needs to be, just like it was made for it. Feeling comfortable. Let's go look at it from the inside. Yeah, looking good. Fits nicely. room for the floor pans, all of that stuff. And let me get my tripod and I'll just go over something that was brought up over the last episode on this car. We're gaining so many new viewers so often that, and I know not everybody gets to see the old stuff. Somebody was asking about why this is so much longer, and we'd already done that side, and I'm changing things a little bit, but I've built this a bit long. It'll be cut off because that way it just fits and I don't have to worry about precise measurement. I'm lazy like that. The second reason for it being like this also is, I'll look at something here. This looks a bit low. I gotta figure that out real quick. We'll do that in a minute. But anyway, the second reason is it allows me the opportunity to drop in a box tube here. So I'm going to open that one back up. We're going to get a piece of 2x3 box tube and use that as a subframe connector to tie the frame together. So it's kind of engineered that way. The other one is the same way. I had a different design in mind at that point, but the more I've thought about it, the more just dropping a piece of box tube in here, welding it solid, is really going to be a nice way. This will still be cut off, but it'll be a nice way to tie the rear to the front. I don't plan ahead a lot. I just kind of think on my feet, so I'm constantly changing what I do based upon what I'm experiencing and seeing. What I'm bothered by right now, I'm not sure why. Oh, I see. Okay. The hump is twisted, that's why. You can see this is really low here, and I think because I've got so much up pressure on this and this piece isn't in there. I better check my door gap here real quick. Yep, we're good. So what's happening right now is the trunk floor is twisting. You can see if I pick up on this, that side drops and this new piece of floor pan falls into place. So, no big deal. We gotta straighten that out, but that's all part of the way these unibodies work. So you can see this is an integral piece of structure here, and for whatever reason, it's probably because I have enough up pressure on this here, this floor is twisting a little bit. Not worried about it, we'll get it twisted into place. One thing I can't emphasize enough is when you're doing things like this project, tack weld, tack weld, tack weld, tack weld, tack weld, tack weld, tack weld. You want to tack things together, check them, tack them together, check them, tack them together, check them, tack them together, check them. If you get too much done all at once, things may start to go walkabout because of heat, or maybe you didn't have something exactly right, or there's a myriad number of reasons why they could be an issue. So I cannot say that. What's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? Oh yeah, tack weld, tack weld, tack weld, tack weld, tack weld, tack weld, tack weld. Did I ever mention you should tack weld? I bet you can't guess what we're going to do right now. If you guess tack weld, you'd be right. Yep, we're going to tack weld it. It's got a little twist. I use my foot right up in there, but that's no big deal. There's a bunch of other stuff that has to happen here yet, but there's no jack holding it up anymore to the floor, and it's fitting up in there nicely. So the welds are holding, and I want to pull this out now and just see exactly what I've got when it's out of the car, and then make a determination what's next. You can see that with the jack gone from here now, it's still holding tight to the floor. So the rail is kind of rough contoured to the shape of the floor now. Not bad for a guy who has no idea what the heck he's doing. We're gonna just work on pulling this thing out. frame rail. Imagine that. Look, Ma, no clamps. That is an impressive piece right there. So lots and lots and lots to do. But I wanted to pull it out, look it over, check its rigidity, see how everything is on it, and then we'll begin the process of, I'll need to put it back in the car again, test fit, take it out, put it back in the car, test fit. There's a little cleanup I need to do on the back end of the car around the spring perch, as I mentioned. And I need to do some slicing in here as I did on the other side to get that to fit in there the way it needs to. Again, our angle here is ready. This angle here is, close. I did find one piece right here, which is probably, I thought it was, this lip was bent, and it is, but there's a piece sticking up here and here that are going to definitely be holding it down from the floor, so I need to trim those down. The other thing that I didn't do, and this was a conscious decision, let me bring you over here so you can see. I didn't put my spot weld, my butt plug weld holes in here. I'm still intending to do that, and I seriously considered taking all of this back out, putting those holes in there, and then putting it back in. I'll be honest with you. No, actually, I'm going to lie to you. That's a pet peeve. I'll be honest with you. Everything I'm lying all the other time? What the heck? Anyway, again, full disclosure, I just forgot to do them, and I had it in there ready to tack weld together with the 4 spot welds, and I thought, oh crap, I need to take that back out, and I just felt like, I can use my my plug weld drill tool, drill little 1/8" holes, drill through the top layer, and plug weld that up. And I felt like that was a better choice rather than taking it out, having to go through all the process of getting it all tweaked and fitted in place. So we've got some serious welding to do here soon. I'm not quite there yet, but we're getting really close. I got to test fit it in the car a few more times, and then we'll be solid welding here, around. We'll get all of this blended. It's fitting well. It's just a little bit, this piece is just a little bit off, and it's not, as I look at it, it's not that this piece of frame doesn't line up here. I think when I put this on, if you remember, I was kind of fighting it, and I think this is just kind of the residue of that. I could pull that over. I don't really care. I've got to, like I said, I've got to kind of fill in here and fill in here anyway. And there's jobs of welding to do and trimming, and it looks like a mess in here right now, but all of that will look really good once we're further along. So it just needs a little cleanup. Give you a little bit of a closer look at what's going on inside of here. This is obviously all designed to be kind of tweaked, but down inside, this one's catching a little bit and it's pulling that inner structure over. So what I need to do is just come up in here and cut this back more, here and here, and that'll allow that to fall into place. Then I can trim this the way I want and let it lay in there. If you remember right, we solid welded the other one all the way down the middle, up on the sides. We've got a job of work to do to get all this done yet. Obviously it's still tacked and floppy, but again, we're just test fitting everything right now. So none of this is mission critical, none of this is a problem. It's all accounted for. The frame rail's a little bit wide right in here right now. This needs to pull back together. The other thing we've got to do is determine the exact location of the factory shipping bracket. I think I'm going to go ahead and put that back in. And that's an easy measurement from the back, just to measure up and put it in where it goes. I just got to get it out of the other frame, so that needs to go down inside of that frame. Does it really need it? No, but I might as well. I'm not trying to obviously make it appear as though I didn't work on it, because it is stitches after all. But I don't know, I just think it'd be cool to put that back in case I want it for some reason in the future. And something else that needs to happen, hang on. You can see right here we have one of those vertical braces, and the reason that's there, and that will end up in here somewhere probably. Back you up in here somewhere. That's where the suspension stop bolts on, and that's to support that so it doesn't crush the frame here when the suspension hits. So I need to put that back in and get that rubber suspension stop put on there. And I do know the dimension back because the other one's still on, so I just measure the other side and put it in its proper place. So we're talking about this piece that goes somewhere down in here-ish. I don't remember exactly where, but we can dimension that out from the other side, as I said, so no big deal. The holes for the other one are still over there, so it'll be an easy measure it, drill the holes, and put the mounting plate inside, and then put that separator piece in so that it supports that. There's also one of those that goes down here, somewhere in this area, for where the spring mounts to the frame so that it doesn't crush the frame that way as well. Look, Ma, no clamps. Isn't that cool? Yeah. So let's stand here and stare at it for 25 minutes. Now, I'm really happy with it. It's turning out well, and it's fitting the car. Some trimming to do. I'm out of time for today, and I think that's a good place to stop because I'll be able to come back and fit it into the car with fresh eyes and see exactly what the next step is in doing that. Thank you again to Super Clean for providing products for the shop and all of your encouragement and support. We really appreciate that. We will continue to put those products to the test as always, and we continue to thank you for all that you do for us. So what's coming next? We're going to be putting this puppy in the car. We're really close. A little trimming to do, a lot of welding to do. Realistically, I was hoping that next episode would be the final installation, but I think there's a crap ton of welding and massaging to do. And knowing you guys, I don't think you want me doing that off camera, but bloop, bloop, drop some comments down there. Let me know if you don't want to see all of that. I did show you all that on the other side because you requested it. There is going to be some tweaking, as I mentioned, so it's not going to be just hours of me with a welder just welding. But it needs to be fit back in the car, and I really prefer to take my time, come back with fresh eyes after I've been out here for several hours, and just look it all over one more time. Obviously, there's cleanup that needs to be done on the car to put it in. So yeah, I think we're looking at one episode of welding and then one episode of final cleanup and tack it in the car to get it to the point that the other side is. Yes, there's, we did more welding on that one and so forth, but I'm really excited to move beyond this. I think we're at 372.6 episodes now on building 2 frame rails. But here's the thing, and I really want to encourage you guys. When it's done, it's done. You never have to do it again. So, if you want to go the easy route and buy the frame rail and throw it in the car, more power to you, that's fine. This is what I love. Quite frankly, this morning started out very stressful, and I was feeling a lot of anxiety about work-related stuff and business-related stuff. And being out here for the hours that I have working on this and working with you guys, as long as I don't start thinking about it too much, my anxiety level's back down again. And so thank God, we can just enjoy this and escape the crap and just spend some time creating things with our hands that we can look back on and say, I am proud of what I did. And that's what ultimately matters in fabricating. Are you proud of what you've done? It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. All that matters is how you feel about it. If you feel good about it and you feel good about yourself, then drive it with pride and enjoy it, and screw the haters. I really can't emphasize enough how much you guys mean to me and how thankful I am. I think we hit 417 subs today. We had one fellow from another channel messaging me today on Facebook. We had a great conversation about the challenges of growing a YouTube channel. Just getting great feedback from a lot of people. More and more of you are showing up over on the Facebook page. Be sure you do that. Pinned to the top of the page is the thread, Show Us Your Junk. Post pictures of the stuff you're working on there. We're on Facebook and Instagram /MyCarShop. And again, I'm just so grateful that you guys would take some time from your life and want to share in the stuff that we're doing here in the shop, and that you learn from this and you find it entertaining or at least mildly amusing. And I don't care if you laugh at me, that's fine too. So once again, thank you so much. Let's do it for this episode. We'll see you on the flip side. Next episode up should be maybe another one on the Oakland. We're not sure. We'll see what comes out when it comes out, but have a rockin' Friday and rock on.